Raiden's fastest normal is a 7-frame stand 1, tied with his 7-frame crouch 1. His string from stand 1 has good forward movement, which makes it nice when juggling from anti-air down 2, for example. His down 2 is 9 frames, and his down 3 is 8 frames, which both seem quite fast compared to most characters. His stand 2 is 11 frames, which is comparatively somewhat slow for a standing punch. He has two different 11-frame mids, back 1 and towards 3. Despite the difference in animation, they have almost exactly the same range. Towards 3 string knocks down instantly, which means you can't use it to confirm combos. This makes back 1 significantly more useful for both confirming and punishing. Raiden also has a low combo starter, back 3. It's 16 frames, fast enough that it's often not reactable, but still quite a lot of startup to resolve. It's also -9 on block, and its strings are punishable too, so it's somewhat risky to use. It has good synergy with the standing overhead, back 2, which is 19 frames startup. It's -18 on block, which is incredibly unsafe, yet still safer than it was in MKX. But unlike MKX, it doesn't allow for a follow-up combo. It has a crushing blow, which launches and allows for juggles. The activation condition is that you land 2 successful overheads in succession. You can't land an overhead, then some other hit, and then another overhead, and get the crushing blow. It has to be that your last attack was a successful overhead. This means the opponent can easily anticipate, after eating an overhead, that you really want to land another one. You can exploit that by hitting an overhead and then going for a low. So basically, your reward for landing an overhead means you get to push a pretty rewarding low overhead mix-up. This crushing blow rule does apply to overheads at the end of combos. Ending a juggle with back 2 sets up a powerful low overhead threat. But at the end of the day, this means you can only get one big combo from an overhead per match. Raiden has a lot of other attacks. In fact, he has a normal for every single spot where it's possible to have one, so I'll just run through all the more notable ones. Towards 1 has a lot of range, but a very high hitbox even for a high, and it's a bit slow at 16 frames. Towards 2 and towards 4 are both advancing attacks with a lot of startup. Towards 2 is a high instead of a mid, and it's actually a bit slower while doing the same damage, so I guess it's worse. Stand 4 launches the opponent. It's a bit slow to recover, so you can't get a juggle on the ground unless you cancel it, but you can get a juggle if they're already airborne. Both of his hop attacks are unusually fast, and the kick one has some alarming range. Overall, Raiden seems to have some of the worst frame disadvantage on his strings of any character I've looked at. Everything is either very punishable or pretty minus and starting from a high. I've noticed that Raiden does seem to have a few specials to make his strings safer. One 2 is -6 on block, and 1-2-1 is -4 on block. Normally I'd say you should complete the string on block for extra chip and some better frames. But the final hit of 1-2-1 can be interrupted or flawless blocked, and it's -9 if it is. The opponent might need to read the last hit and get a really quick punish after getting the flawless block, but it is technically punishable. If 1-2-1 is a counter or punish, you can get a crushing blow which significantly increases the damage. The move list erroneously describes the activation condition as being punishes only. Back 1-2, 1+3 is his combo from his fast advancing mid. It's -9 for the first 2 hits, and the third hit won't even come out on block. This string has fantastic reach and forward movement, which make it excellent for juggling, and it does come off a decently fast starter. You can alternatively do back 1-4 as a string from this mid, which gives you an overhead that knocks down. But there are no cancels from this string, and it's -14 on block. Towards 1-1 is a 2-hit string that's only -5 on block, which is the safest of Raiden's confirms. Unfortunately, it starts from a high 16-frame normal, so if it's ducked, it's punishable, and even if it's not, it won't confirm anything. Towards 1-1-2 is the full string, but it's very unsafe, and canceling to a special move is stronger as an ender, so I doubt you'll ever use the last hit of this string. 2-1 is a 2-hit launching string that special cancels. There's no third hit to the string, but the second hit still cancels to specials and allows for a juggle. 2-4-3 is a conversion from his slower standing punch. The whole string is -3 on block, which makes it very safe. You can do the first 2 hits into a special move on hit, or just complete it on block. The second hit is low, which gives it a bit of synergy with his back 1-4 string. The third hit of 2-4-3 can also special cancel, which makes it his max damage meterless punish string. But the low second hit makes it generally unsuited to juggling. And the high throwback makes it not combo into certain specials. 3-2-1 is an unusual string. It's high mid-mid and safe, and actually plus for the third hit. But the third hit can be interrupted even by moderately fast attacks. And even if Raiden doesn't do the last hit, he can't challenge those fast hits because he's minus. So the only way to dissuade the opponent from trying to interrupt this string is to cancel the second hit into an unsafe special. Back 3, 1, 2+4 is the conversion from his low starter, but none of the hits jail, so the opponent can flawless block the second hit and punish you. If they don't, you're -6, which is very minus but still generally safe. The third hit can't even come out on block, and if your low hits you can just confirm into a better ender, so it's not great on hit either. Raiden's final string is towards 3-2. It's a safe, quick, double mid string from his good towards 3, but it knocks down immediately. Very low risk, very low reward. For damage maximization of your cancelable attacks, 1-2 is 48, 2-4, back 1-2, and forward 1-1 are all 58, and 3-2 is 78. 2-1 and back 3-1 are both 77. But they launch, which might help or inhibit your routes. 2-4-3 is 103 and also launches. Towards 2 and towards 4 are both 70 and don't launch. Raiden has a few of his base specials replaced by ability moves in both variations, so neither variation currently has all of his base specials. I'll do my best to cover what the game lists as base, but remember that neither variation has all the specials I'll show here. Lightning Bolt is in both variations, back forward 1. Unlike most projectiles, this one covers the whole screen at once, which means it takes about the same amount of time to hit from max range as it does from close. The startup is kind of awful, so it's probably great at max range for Fireball Wars, but not great at mid-range or closer. But it has 20 active frames and only 8 recovery frames, so it's hard to jump over and pretty much unpunishable from afar. It's duckable, but enhancing it tags on a quick second hit that's mid to punish neutral ducking. Not only that, but even point blank the enhanced version is safe at -5. Electric Fly, back forward 3, is also in both variations. It can be done both midair and on the ground. And it has good travel speed to give Raiden a whole lot of full screen presence. The damage is good and it has great corner carry, so you should use it to end any combo where you're not spending meter. Holding the button on the ground fly will delay the tackle, which doesn't seem to have much purpose. But while delaying the charge, you can tap down-down to cancel it outright at the cost of 1 defensive meter. You can use this to make many of his strings dramatically safer. Raiden is often still minus but farther away, so a character with good reach might punish him, but generally this patch is one of his biggest weaknesses. Enhancing the fly increases the damage by a decent amount. If the fly connects at max range and is then enhanced, you get a high damage crushing blow. I don't know if there's really a setup for this, but I guess you could punish buff or setup based specials with it. Lightning Strike, down towards 2, is currently exclusive to his first tournament variation. Raiden calls down a bolt from the sky to hit one of 3 spots on the screen, depending on which direction you hold. The range can be kind of specific, but it doesn't appear to have any dead zones. The startup is almost exactly the same as his straight fireball, and the damage is a bit lower. Working like a Seismo style fireball might make it easier to avoid if the opponent suddenly moves or jumps, but that's the price you pay for a full screen meterless mid. Enhancing it doubles the damage. But frustratingly, the enhanced lightning bolts do seem to have dead zones. Summon Lightning, down back 2, is currently exclusive to a second tournament variation. It has a very specific hitbox, and won't hit some grounded opponents at all. But it will easily snatch mid-air opponents, even from very far away. If the opponent is pulled into Raiden's hand, it tags on a follow-up hit for extra damage. It's a bit stronger than Electric Fly, but leaves you full screen, which can be good or bad. If you catch them, you can enhance it. But the damage increase is kind of negligible, and I can't immediately see a secondary effect, so I don't think you would usually do it. Thunder Wave is Raiden's first variation. It gives you his teleport with the rather simple command of down up. Simply doing the teleport will always move you directly behind the opponent, and it's free. It's reactable and punishable if your opponent is looking for it, but enhancing the teleport has Raiden teleport again back to in front of them for 1 offensive meter, which might let you punish them if they whiff some attacks in the wrong direction. You can also teleport in front of the opponent, or way past them, by holding back or towards respectively. You can even teleport in place by holding down. All of these cost 1 defensive meter, which makes sense considering you can easily use it to make some attacks safer. I guess there's even a bit of a mix-up based on where Raiden is going to end up. Canceling the teleport as a special move is possible but a bit weird. Unlike most special moves, where you can cancel almost any time before the hit, you have to do teleport cancels during or a bit after your attack connects, which makes them come out later. Raiden's other unique special in this variation is Storm Cell, down back 2. This move is absolutely insane. It's decently fast at 13 frames, has 39 active frames, and appears to have a hitbox all the way around him. On block it's -3, but it doesn't jail and the final hit can be neutral ducked on reaction. If your opponent doesn't know this, it's ridiculously spammable, but if they do, they can quite easily punish you every time. The enhance is where this move really shines. The damage is quite good, and it freezes the opponent mid-air, allowing for a juggle. This is Raiden's best combo extension special, and it basically doubles the damage of his conversions. This is your main use of bars, Thunder Wave Raiden, and it's sorely missed in his other variation. You can use 2 enhanced Storm Cells in the same combo if you want. Raiden is Raiden's second variation. It has no traditional combo extension special, but you get something very interesting and powerful in return. Down back 3 is Quick Charge, a quick buff which gives Raiden some passive static electricity. It doesn't affect his damage at all from what I can tell, but Raiden takes about half as much damage on block. It wears off after 15 seconds. After he blocks 3 attacks, he gains access to one of the most theoretically powerful special moves in the game, Discharge, also on down back 3. Discharge instantly ends your charge, but it does a 4-frame lightning attack. To my knowledge, this is the fastest attack in the game, and it punishes a ridiculous number of otherwise safe attacks or strings, anything -5 or worse. Its speed means it's also a fantastic interrupt or juggle option. If it's done on an airborne opponent, it regrounds them and allows for links, which gives you some powerful combos. The damage isn't amazing, and it has no conversion on grounded opponents, but enhancing it makes it do over double its normal damage while also making it totally safe on block. Down forward 2 gives Raiden Electric Burst. It does okay damage, but has bad range and is unsafe on block. It cannot be enhanced. I'm not especially sure what this is for, since it's outclassed at everything it seems to do. Down back 4 is Electric Current, a low staff poke. It's not very fast, but it does okay damage with absolutely fantastic range. Enhancing it increases the damage. It launches, but the recovery is so long that the only combo you can pick up is Discharge. If your charge is active, there's a thunderbolt that makes the staff hit full screen, though it doesn't do as much damage nor does it knock down. To me, it looks like his first variation is better. Discharge is extremely good, but it's not entirely in your control whether you have access to it or not, while both of Raiden's other unique specials in his second variation aren't very interesting. He loses access to his excellent teleport, his combo extender, and his Seismo Bolt special. But his two variations bring very different things to the table. For most characters with unique variations, I think you might pick either one based on the matchup. But for Raiden, I think certain players might always pick a certain variation regardless of the matchup, because they're almost like different characters. Here are my sample bread and butter combos. You can find notes in the description of this video.